There we go. Alright. Welcome to Season 3, Race 8 of my F1 2020. My team career mode with Jaguar Racing F1 team. Here at Baku, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, one of my better circuits on the calendar, and we're getting ready to go for qualifying. But first, we're going to go into the R&D tree and spend our resource points on a new development. I think since we're pretty close to maxing out the... Well, I was going to say we're close to maxing out the engine, but we can't do that because we don't have enough resource points, which kind of sucks. We're only off by 65. That screws up my plans a bit. But that's okay, we can go with something else here. We haven't actually done an aero upgrade recently, so why don't we get this major drag reduction upgrade, which will come in time for the French Grand Prix, which sounds good to me. We'll do that. And we'll get set for qualifying. I actually did all the practices yesterday. So this is actually the first laps I've turned in this race weekend since yesterday. So we'll go straight to qualifying and see how we do. I think it was the first time in my career mode that my team was first, in any order, was first and second in all 3 practice sessions. So I would be surprised if it's not a front row lockout for Jaguar here at the Baku City Circuit. Alrighty, let's go to the track and get this qualifying lap underway. Close so far. Only saw the old ghost car very briefly. There it is, there's Ricardo. He's right on our tail. Of course, Ricardo is a former winner here. He did win the 2017 Azerbaijan Grand Prix for Red Bull. It's going to be very close between myself and my teammate here. Oh, and it looks like we're just going to beat out our teammate for pole.
Good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
And with qualifying complete, Let's review our top three today. The owner-driver, Ricciardo, and Carlos Sainz. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Yeah, you can see right there just how close it was between myself and Daniel Ricciardo. 800ths of a second. Or almost 900ths of a second separating us from first and second. And this is a track where you could really see the performance gap from us to the rest of the field. Because we're first and second, obviously, and then we're almost 0.8 of a second quicker than the third place car, Carlos Sainz. That being said, so we're just over, and this again just goes to show the performance gap really, even with Mercedes, who are ahead of most of the midfield. You know, we're 3/4 of a second, or just about 3/4, a little over 3/4 of a second ahead of third place. Yet third place to about 17th place is separated by only a second. So that sort of reflects in the running order here that the rest of the pack is so close to each other, and it varies by track to track when you look at the rows. So like row 3 got McLaren and Ferrari. Good job by Carlos Sainz, by the way. He's had some pretty good qualifying this year. Had second in Spain and now third here in Baku. Third row is Mercedes and Ferrari. Fourth row is McLaren and Racing Point. And then you got a Renault and Mercedes, a Red Bull and Racing Point, an AlphaTauri and a Renault. And then it sort of becomes more parity when you get to the back marker teams. But yeah, that was qualifying for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. You got on pole. We have a strong chance to win the race, but it's going to be very close between ourselves and Ricciardo. I don't think there's any denying that. Of course, we lead our rivalry over Max Verstappen by 1 point. And these next few races could be pretty critical for us to the championship, because I suspect that around I think France, Great Britain, and Hungary are tracks where we are going to lose ground to Ricciardo. But at the same token, we have tracks coming up that should really benefit us, like here in Azerbaijan, Canada, depending on where we qualify. Austria should be a very strong track for us, obviously. And then Belgium and Italy should also be very strong tracks for us. So
I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Dry weather throughout, which is good. And just to go over the championship standings, so we're 11 points behind Daniel Ricciardo for the lead in the Drivers' Championship. And of course, last time out in Monaco, it was Lewis Hamilton getting his first win in a season. First one, basically not a full calendar year, but first win in a year. He won season 2 of Monaco. Then his win at Monaco here in season 3 was his first win since then. So there is that. So let's get going. We have a fresh power unit in the car, and we're all ready for one of my best tracks on the calendar, my best races on the calendar, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. It's the owner-driver in pole position then, with Daniel Ricciardo slotting in alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Sainz, Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen, Norris, Perez, Gasly and Valtteri Bottas, Albon, Stroll, Daniel Kvyat and Ocon, Giovinazzi, Matsushita, Kevin Magnussen and Roman Grosjean, De Vries, Russell, Latifi and Tatiana Calderon. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Alright, no grid penalties.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Alright, almost ready to go here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Let's check the race strategy. It is a one-stop soft to hard. So that is what we're looking at for this race. And we'll see maybe if we can stretch it out. Maybe go on to mediums. We'll see. I feel like I did stretch it onto mediums last time, but we'll see.
Launch map is good, but we need to learn the gears, so go into each one when you can. We're going to need some work on the brakes, so put some energy into them and warm the tyres as well, please.
I guess it'll depend on how the traffic works out, how far we are ahead, and how the tire wear is. But we will check the race director, and everybody's starting on softs except for Calderon, who's on mediums. I'd have to watch it. I'd have to look back at the race from season 2, but I could have swore that we were able to stretch the soft tires long enough to go on to mediums. I could be totally misremembering that, but especially with the tire wear upgrades to this car, I think we could stretch and maybe do soft to medium instead of soft to hard. I guess it'll depend on how much these soft tires wear out for the first couple laps of this race. Even with the success of our team this year, I've only still had just the one victory in Bahrain. Ricardo has racked up the other 4 victories for the team. So I think we're really going to need to win this race keep the momentum going from Monaco, just to keep in touch with Ricardo. Oh, I hit the wall unintentionally. That's lovely. And there we go. And the ghosting begins. I am inside Ricardo. This is weird. Okay, everything's back to normal.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient
let's
and
see
watch for
how
the
good
lights.
of a launch he can get off the start. Here, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Can we make it 3 wins in a row? 5 red lights. And we're underway. Didn't get the best launch initially, but we beat Ricardo fairly easily into turn 1. While Leclerc is side by side with Carlos Sainz, so P3 is up for debate, at least in the first corner, but look, Sainz appears to have gotten him for that position. Everything appears to be good, and we are off and running in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Myself, Ricardo, Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, and Lewis Hamilton being the top 5.
Great first lap. Keep it up.
I think we're going to be in for a real fight today against Ricardo. Like I said, it's going to be real hard to get away from him. And that's what I'm hoping. You know, I know we have the same sort of tire rear, but I'm hoping that if we don't get away from the rest of the pack, that maybe we can sort of stretch out the stint. And it will help us, especially if Ricardo hits when the pit projection says it's going to be good to pit. Because that would mean Ricardo would get stuck in traffic. Ricardo's already got a run even without DRS. He's maxed out the ERS. And I think Ricardo is going to lead that lap. He's not going to get us into turn 1. We're going to cut him off. I think the issue is that Ricardo, I think is going to stay close enough to us that we're not going to be really able to get away from everyone else behind us that effectively. I mean, obviously we'll pull away from like the back markers, but I'm talking more the really tight midfield. I think we're not going to be able to pull away from them as easily as perhaps we were last year. Right there, right in that corner right there, right before the castle section, is where we really do gain a little bit of time on the car behind us, but Ricardo made it through the castle section very well, and now he's only a half second behind. Saving up the ERS to deploy down the front straight. Let's see if we can actually lead this lap. Ricardo getting a little twitchy there. And no, I think Ricardo's going to blow by me again. He's going to lead this lap. A little bit of contact between the teammates here.
DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
I got a little damage, unintentionally hitting Ricardo there. I was squeezing him out, and I was hopefully he was going to give me the outside, but I guess he didn't, and we'll switch back around. Real close. Ooh. Very close. We're going to get the lead back. We're going to squeeze out Ricardo. As we're into lap 3, which means DRS is now available. Through the tight corners is where I seem to gain the most time over the guys behind me.
Let's use overtake and burn some of this energy.
Oh, and I screwed up the castle section. Feels like that happens to me once every race. I'll screw up the castle section. I would be shocked if Ricardo doesn't blow by me here, considering that he has DRS, or should have DRS. Will I be able to lead this lap? That's what I want to know. Haven't been able to lead a lap yet. And Ricardo is coming. Well, he's not going to get me before the start-finish line, so I will officially lead my first lap of the race. And like I said, the fact that we're so close to Ricardo means we're going to be battling. The fact that we're battling as Ricardo looks to make a move, mainly because they went into standard mix on the fuel. Oh, did we make a little contact with Ricardo? I think we did. Let's take a look at that again, just to see what happened. Did I get any damage on Ricardo's car? No, just a little bit of contact. Squeezed him a little bit. Let's go slow-mo. Very tight. And we just banged tires just a little bit. And that got Ricardo out of shape. And that actually gives us a little bit of breathing room. Actually gaining on Ricardo, and just to do a quick check, I want to see if he got DRS on us this lap. No, we did not, so we actually broke the DRS barrier, got ourselves Ricardo. Very close, but we broke it, at least for now. Get away just a little bit. that gap. So say, when we are out of the DRS range, we do gain on Ricardo.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Copy.
So he wants us to come in on lap 8 for hards. Tire wear. Doing okay. 39% on the right rear. Just the most wear on any given tire right now. And I completely misjudged the castle section because I was looking at my tires.
Careful, we think you're going to start losing some tyre grip around now.
So right now, pit projections have us coming out in 16th.
We advise moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2.
So if we were to pit now, we would come out in traffic. And honestly, that's sort of what I'm hoping for here, is that Ricardo pits first, he gets stuck in traffic. And then, even if I go mediums or hards, I can then pit the next lap and gain the advantage, because Ricardo, while on fresh tires, would be stuck in traffic. So that's what I'm paying attention to right now, sort of the pit delta, in terms of where we would come out on track after our stop. And I screwed it up again. Oh, come on, Sean, you usually don't have this much trouble. Castle section. Yeah, I guess the place where I really lose time to Ricardo is this section right here, that goes around the old city. That's where I seem to lose the most time to Ricardo. And the reason that concerns me is, of course, that section sets us up for the long run down to the main straight. Here, with a long run down the main straight. So I guess that's something that's a bit concerning to me.
In this lap, push now.
In terms of just maintaining the gaps to Ricardo. And we do have a couple cars into the pits. As we'll actually take this opportunity to do a quick save. And we'll check the replay and see who is pitting. I know it's a McLaren and a Renault, but I don't know which ones. So it is Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly. So Sainz is going for hards, and it looks like Gasly and Renault are doing the same. So, again, one stop is what was predicted, and that appears to be what's playing out here. Is the one-stop strategy.
Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilize some of this energy.
And I'm very much hoping that Ricardo pits first. I don't know when he's going to pit, but I want him to pit first. Pit projection has us coming out 9th. Which would be behind Kvyat and Bottas. Is Ricardo coming in? No, he stays out on track for another lap. Looks like we got more of the cars behind us looking to pit. Looks like Leclerc's in, Hamilton is in. The other Renault and the other McLaren are in. Looks like one of the Red Bulls might be in, as well as one of the Haas cars. Tire wear. Still not terrible. I presume everyone who just pitted probably went on to hards, though no. So Hamilton, Leclerc, and Perez go on to the medium tire, which is a very interesting choice. That makes me wonder whether I, myself, should switch to a medium tire at the pit stop here. Projection now has us coming out in 4th place. Now I'm going to stay out another lap. Again, the tire is not terrible, and I think I can stretch them a little bit longer. I think Ricardo might be coming in, and he does. There goes Ricardo into the pits. We'll see what tires he decides to go with here. Uh-oh, we got a slowed car.
Full course caution. The safety car is out. Keep an eye on the Delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty.
Safety car is out. Let's see. Oh, there's a crash. That's the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. Was crashed. Coming through the kinks of the lead up to the main straightaway, he just lost control and into the wall. And he gets hit by Kvyat. And I'm surprised that Bottas is #1 still in this race, but yeah, that will probably send him all the way to the back as well as Kvyat. Let's see that wreck again from Bottas's perspective. He just comes through that kink and then just loses control. Yeah, he's coming to the kink here, and then he just starts, his car starts drifting to the right, and he really doesn't do he really doesn't make a correction until very late, because he's already heading towards the wall, he's still got the wheel straight, and then all of a sudden, bam, right there, he overcorrects, And by then, it's just too late. And Fiat runs into him. So both of those cars are going to have to change their front wings. Here we go from Fiat's perspective. Trying to slow down, but he couldn't slow down in time, and Bottas just runs into him. So you can see Ricciardo was going on to mediums, as I suspected. Bottas is Fiat carrying part of the front wing still in his car? Yeah, actually, part of his front wing that came off is actually still stuck to his car, so that's not ideal for him. Now let me check who hasn't pitted yet. I think Bottas and Kvyat haven't come in for their stop yet. No, they haven't, but it's really going to help the Alfa Romeos, maybe Matsushita. I mean, we'll see where they come out, but in theory, this should help them because they haven't stopped yet, and they're going to be pitting under the safety car. Though those other guys who pitted are probably going to be right behind them, so I guess we'll see. And I'm not exactly sure how this is going to help us, or if it will at all. We might lose the lead to Ricciardo. I'm not sure.
A new strategy is available on the MFD. Confirmed. Okay, we can take you this lap. Affirmative. Medium tyres at the next stop.
We're about 17 seconds ahead of Ricciardo, but he is running at safety car speed, or he's also trying to not exceed the delta time. So,
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
not sure if we'll gain the lead or lose the lead. I'm not really sure. We'll find out here in a second.
Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Oh, that's not good. Came into pits much too quickly. I think Ricciardo's gonna jump us. I got the feeling he's going to jump us here. We'll see.
Complete.
Close. I think he's got us.
We'll be doing one more stop
Yep,
today.
he's got us.
One stop left in our strategy.
Darn it. So Ricciardo's just ahead of us, which is not ideal. The good news is we're going to have, I think if there's any track that's good for a safety car restart and overtaking, this is it. Because it's not like we're going to be getting brake checked around a couple tight corners coming to the main straight for the restart. It's going to be, you know, already coming down the long front straightaway to the line, so I think we got a pretty good chance of overtaking Ricciardo going into turn 1 on this restart. As you can see, pretty much all the front runners went with the medium tire. I think the big loser here, as you look at the race director, is Carlos Sainz. He's going to be not only down in P7, but he's going to be on the harder compound of Tyre, along with Gasoline Norris. So I think he got the short end of the stick on this one because he lost a couple spots, and he's on the lesser tire compound, I guess. But it could come back into his favor by the end of the race. We'll see. Bottas and Fiat obviously are going to be... Actually, I didn't check and see where they were. They are now 13th and 16th. So both of those guys fall. They were in the top 10 or thereabouts. That certainly impacts their race. Now it's just going to be a matter of when the safety car decides to come in. And, of course, one thing that will help us out here is that we will get the opportunity to save some fuel. So we're starting to get low since we have been running rich mix, but now that we aren't and we're in lean, we're building the fuel load back up again. And it looks like we'll be going back racing next time by, as some of the pack still has to catch up to us. Pretty much everyone's caught now, so I suspect that we will be going back racing this time by. We'll see if we can take these medium tires all the way to the end of the race. Surely this would help us in that regard, just saving tire wear. Oh, and that always happens where literally as soon as the safety car it's announced that the safety car is coming in, I always brake check the guy in front of me. I don't know why, because the guy in front of me always seems to stop as soon as that message comes up. Honestly, it's kind of ridiculous, but that's just me.
Safety car is in this lap. Safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature, and remember, there is no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags.
Go back to racing. We have opportunity for an overtaking in turn 1. Big contact. Let's try it again. Let's make it a little more cleaner. Outside. Ooh, we get the pass on Ricardo on the outside. done and dusted, and we're off.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more.
Want to move around the outside, take the lead, back from Ricardo. Didn't like that first move. It was a little bit more contact than I would have liked. Pass him, want to do it clean. He is my teammate after all. Ricardo is right there. I think he's definitely going to be in DRS range once we open the DRS. And it looks like we had one of the racing points had come in. From the looks of it. It's Lance Stroll. Not sure why. I guess he has a little bit of front wing damage. Was that why he's pitting? Or no, he has a penalty. Lance Stroll had a penalty. Let's see if we can investigate. Race director. So we got a couple penalties here. You got Antonio Giovinazzi has a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. And Stroll, I guess he fell too far back at one point during the safety car period, so he has to serve a drive-through penalty. So that is pretty interesting. Of course, I guess the only shakeup that causes really to Stroll because he was in 10th. So I believe that elevates Esteban Ocon into the last points tank position. So you go purple sector 1. I guess the good news for Stroll is that at least it wasn't it's not a 10-second stop and go penalty. So at least he's not that far off the rest of the pack. Yeah, it's gonna be a real dogfight between myself and Ricardo here. Real dogfight. We cut him off there.
DRS has been
Still
enabled.
outside.
DRS is now enabled.
Oh, we squeeze him out again. On the outside of turn 1. There's a great fight already slumped between myself and Ricardo. The pit predictor is saying we're in for a second stop. I don't think that's likely, especially with our cars, which have better tire wear than almost anyone else in the field. We should have no problems making it to the end of the race. The other guys on medium tires, we'll see. We'll see. About 205, 206 as we come to the
Check your
start finish
MSD
line.
for a new strategy option. Got that confirmed?
Yeah, I don't see the reason why we're pits. About 10 laps to go. Our tire is only worst wears at 11% on the right side, but other than that, it's pretty good. Didn't take that corner particularly. Did not take it the right way. Let's try that again. Hit the wall a little bit there. Better. Here comes Ricardo. DRS wide open, but we're holding the lead. And they can go to the outside, squeeze him out. With the advantage coming out of turn one. Meanwhile, Verstappen and Hamilton duel for third place behind us, as Perez has got Leclerc for P5. So Verstappen and Hamilton fight while Perez fights with Leclerc. Despite that accident with Bottas and Kvyat, no retirements in this race as of yet. Nobody has dropped out with an engine failure. Ricardo is right up our gearbox. Here we go again. We're actually able to use our rich mix and our ERS to sort of maintain the gap to Ricardo
We're
just
approaching
enough
the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
that the effects of the DRS are not enough for him to pass me for position. Meanwhile, Leclerc has passed, re-overtaken Perez, while Hamilton has sort of solidified third place. Is starting to pull away from Max Verstappen.
We've got a lot of spare energy. Use your overtake button.
Oh, Ricciardo got really close. Looking for a move through that tight left-hander, and it's not the best place to overtake. Rich mix. Overtake. Let's see if we can maintain that gap once again. Get it up to just under half a second, and Ricciardo was able to use the DRS to gain somewhat, but not enough to pass us. So we're doing exactly what we need to do to maintain the lead of this race. Time we're just over half second ahead of Ricciardo.
We're boxing this lap. Give us the best
Again,
lap
we're
you can.
able to do just enough to maintain the gap to Ricciardo and keep him from getting by. Meanwhile, our gap to third place Lewis Hamilton was extended to about 10 seconds. At this point, our lead is coming down to being able to manage the ERS and our fuel mixture in this final part of the lap. That's going to be the key to us to deciding whether we win this race or not. just because we can, we're going to do another quick save here. In case anything were to happen while I'm playing this race. Closed back in on us again.
We're not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix too soon.
Says fast stop the Grand Prix. Is we have a problem. One of the Ferraris looks like it's Leclerc who's dropping off the pace.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Let's check the replay. I'm pretty sure that it is Leclerc. Yep, that is Leclerc. Or no, that's Verstappen. That's Max Verstappen who's slowing. And looks like he might come to a stop right at pit entry.
Some information on Verstappen. They are out of the race.
Wait, I want to see where he stopped. See, I don't get... I guess this is one weird thing about the game I don't get, particularly in this track. If he's retiring from the race, why is he stopping at pit entry when he can just literally drive into the pits and retire from there? I don't get the point of like stopping at that specific spot. But what that jam-up did, and I guess where it occurred, is that, you know, Leclerc has now dropped out of the top 5, and Perez and Sainz are now 4th and 5th. Contact with the wall there. Ricardo getting close. Coming into 4 laps to go this time. Ricardo's going to be the closest he's ever been to us here.
Caution, caution, yellow flags ahead. No overtaking
so
through the caution zone. Be careful until you see the greens.
Not able to overtake because of the safety car.
Okay, clear.
Not the safety car, but because of the yellow flag. And it was very late in the going, but Max Verstappen is our first retiree from the race. And that will pretty much secure Hamilton's position as P3, the last spot on the podium.
Laps of fuel remaining.
As I hit the wall. But just to quickly recap the top 10, now it's myself, Ricardo, Hamilton, Perez by himself, and Sainz in 5th, Leclerc in 6th, Gasly 7th, Norris 8th, Ocon 9th, and Kevin Magnussen trying to hold on to P10, but he's got Valtteri Bottas right behind him. So I don't think he will be able to hold on to that P10 spot. Considering that Bottas has a much faster car than he does.
Let's use overtake and burn some of this energy.
And this back half, sector 2, is really where we lose the most time to Ricardo. As he continues to look for a move at that part of the track. I don't know why. It's not the best overtaking spot on this track. As they send it into Rich Mix to prepare for Ricardo's attack once again. A little twitchy through those kinks. Maxing out down the straight on the ERS.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
We have to play the fuel situation very carefully here. We're getting close to running out completely. We still have a couple laps left. Not really concerned about running out. I guess running out is my concern, but I guess more so in relation to our defense against Ricardo down the main straight is what I'm probably most concerned about as I hit the wall. Try this again. There we go, nice and easy. Rich mix for a second, overtake for a second. Gap back again, just a little bit. Time between ourselves and Ricardo. About a half second. Rich mix, ERS. Coming to 2 laps to go in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, with Ricardo continuing to breathe down our necks as he makes a move and almost wrecks himself out of the race. Boy, oh boy, that would not have been good if he did that. Same thing that happened to Bottas. He made some twitchy moves, and that led to him crashing out. Not crashing out, but crashing, which brought out the safety car. Section is really good for us in terms of gaining time as I think we hit the wall again. Very slightly, but I'm pretty sure we did hit the wall there. Oh, we got more problems. Middle of the pack. Looks like one of the Red Bulls is having an issue. Alexander Albon is out of the Grand Prix. Pulled it off towards the end of Sector 1. And here we go. This time by, white flag lap coming up. All or nothing here. Us versus Ricardo for the win.
This is your final lap of the race. There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Get better exit off that second corner. Pull away a little bit. So we no celebrations coming to the line here. Every 10th is going to count as to whether we hold on or whether Ricardo gets us at the line. Gonna throw it up into lean mix for this part of the course just to save up some fuel for this last run to the line. Mario very close, coming out of that corner. Okay, here we go. Rich mix engaged. Thrown in overtake mode right about now. Oh, Ricardo is so close. Come down to the wire. Ricardo's closing. He's not going to get there though. We hold on to win.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
We played it perfectly with the mixing of the rich mix and the ERS. Just held on at the end to win our third Baku Grand Prix in a row in this career mode.
As well. And some pretty handy driving for good measure. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
It was a question of right place, right time today.
Of course, that's
we were looking
our
at an entirely different race before
second
the safety car
win
came
of
out,
the season.
But they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
We're more than happy to take that result. I got a little concerned coming around those last couple corners down onto the main straight, but we managed to just... We had enough of the tank and we held on for the win.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. That lead at the top of the table has shrunk somewhat today. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Well, Crofty, Daniel Ricciardo would have to be my driver of the day. It's less about what he did right, but how little he did wrong. Perfect driving.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So there you go. That was the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Verstappen, the only classified DNF, of course. I think he retired within a certain number of laps before the finish. He doesn't really count as a DNF, but for all intents and purposes, Alexander Albon DNF'd out of that race. Kvyat did not come back after that wing damage to get into the points, but Bottas did. He came back and got 8th, so I guess good for him. And yeah, it's a podium we've seen a lot this season. Myself, Ricardo, and Hamilton in some sort of combination. But yeah, our team just beasted. We were beasts the whole weekend. Top in all practice sessions, top 2 in all practice sessions, top 2 in qualifying, and top 2 in the race. So a thorough domination. maintain our lead in constructors. Driver standings, we're now only 5 points behind our teammate Daniel Ricciardo. And then you could just see the gaps here. I mean, we're 148 and 143. Bottas and Hamilton are pretty close to each other in the 80-point range, and that's a big gap between us and them. And then it's another big gap all the way down, basically, to Perez and everybody else. So, I guess it just goes to show how volatile that midfield really is outside of ourselves and Mercedes. Just like we're in our own class, and then Mercedes is in their own class behind us, and then there's everybody else sort of in a mix. But there you go, that was the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. Was there really any competition for you today?
Only for my teammate.
How good does it feel to have both cars in your team take the top spots? Things are looking up after last week, aren't they?
I think we got some chassis tweaks, so we'll compliment that.
How do you think this team will be feeling after that result? Appreciate your time.
Alright, and that is that for the... I mean, totally, because Max Verstappen DNF'd out of the race, we totally just destroy him in the rivalry. Now leading 12-6. $1.5 million. Short week to the Canadian Grand Prix. We'll do a... I guess I'll do durability team building activity. I think we'll save up the resource points. Hopefully we can get that engine upgrade during the Canadian Grand Prix weekend. R&D wise, the only thing coming in is the aerodynamics upgrade that we just got. So... there is that. Nothing else really to do, so we will advance the time. Alright, and that is it for this race weekend in Azerbaijan. And the next race will be the Canadian Grand Prix.